you? Coffee, wool, just all the wonderful things around me. I've got here a very old mug. It must be around 100 years old. It's got some painting inside of it. It says it was made in England. It was my grandma's. This is like, when I say my grandma's, this was, you know how we all have our own favorite mug to drink out of. This was my Grandma Tina's favorite to drink out of coffee cup. My inheritance. Let's see. I'm sitting on a great grandma's chair here. It's a folding chair for when she had extra company. I've got two of these. I'm thinking they must be like 1960s. So that when you hear me squeaking, it's my great grandma's old folding chair here. And look at this. An old basket. What comes in baskets? You're supposed to bring things to people. And this is my official inheritance. My basket. I don't know the meaning of it. Maybe we can talk about that a little bit later. But what's in the basket? Good things. We'll talk about these things in years to come. How manna, instead of manna raining down from the heavens, we've got boxes of wonderful goodies arriving in the mailbox. Jeez. Well, what would fit in a box this size? And what are people low on? Jeez, I don't know. Oh my gosh. Makes me think of my grandma again. So when I went to stay for a few months with my grandma and grandpa, my grandma was pretty wise. She was very absent-minded and had a real sense of humor. And but she was very absent-minded. And one day, she looked at me with a very wise look on her face, a very wise and knowing look on her face. And she said very seriously, "Rosa, do you know why your eyes are brown?" And I thought she was going to say something really profound and wise. And so I got really quiet. And I said, "No, Grandma." And she did say something really wise and profound. She said, "Your eyes are brown because that's how full of shit you are." And she said it so serious. Probably one of the wisest things anyone's ever told me. So that's a hint of what would fit in a box this size. Because when you are really full of shit, oh my gosh, paper. Oh my gosh. This is nice. See, there is a God. There's a God. Because when you're in need and you think you're on your last couple of squares of toilet paper, he drops down just enough to get you by. It just rains down just enough. Don't hoard. You don't hoard it because it will get maggots. But what's the saying? Yahweh will provide. Oh my God. This is amazing. So it will come to you. It will come to you. You'll always have just enough to clean up your own shit. And you don't need to hoard. What's this? Aww. She said there was going to be a little treat in here for me. Oh, scissors somewhere. Look at this. See? This is how full of shit I am. My soul. Look at this. Oh, this is nice. You probably can't see it because I film in the dark because it's cozier for me. It's just so much cozier for me. See that? It's a sock. It says Sockmatician. See? Look at this. Look at this. This is this a coincidence? Is it? Because this comes from England and this comes from England. And this is a basket from the 1940s. And this is about bringing and giving things. So look it. This is, I'm starting to understand the meaning of the basket. It's about bringing things and giving things. Just these little bitty treats on this planet. These little things that they're only things, but they mean something. They symbolize something and give us a material, something to grab onto. And they're all artful. Maybe the toilet paper isn't, but it was artful too. It was artfully wrapped. Hold on just a minute. There was something I was going to do. I might have to edit this. Here's another thing I was thinking. Sometimes when I choose songs to sing, they have something to do with something unconsciously that I'm trying to say to myself. It's kind of like having a dream, but you sing it. And I was singing, I posted the video, I was singing, round, round, I wanna go round. Want to see that Rock of Ages. Well, I mean, what goes around? Toilet paper. That song was basically a prayer. Dear God, please send me toilet paper soon. And then, I mean, he heard the cry of my soul. Because socks to me are the sole of the feet, the soul. They're related to the soul to me. And so I was just translating round, round, and then the earth, this comes from across the earth. The earth, I mean, everything goes around. Sorry, I'm just rambling on here. So this basket has been a mystery to me. I looked it up once, like these old baskets. I thought it was reeds. This basket is not made of reeds. I was looking up types of old homemade baskets. Like this is, it's very clearly homemade, and it has, my grandpa liked to carve his name and everything, so it has his last name in it. And, which is mine. But, I looked this basket up, and it's not reeds. This is actually wood. And they were really common in the 1940s. These were, I can't remember what kind of wood this would be, but they're hard to make. And what I have done is actually treated it once in a while because it's so old and where I live is so dry. And this basket was really well preserved because it was in a very humid climate. What I have done to it is I have this really expensive, nice shoe polish conditioner made out of propolis, which is made by honeybees. And so it's all natural. And what I did is I rubbed in a whole bunch of this propolis beeswax stuff that's good for conditioning leather to help. And I should probably do it again. And so it makes it smell kind of like honey. Because that's the only thing I can figure out to do. Because some of these oils for wood and stuff are not the greatest. And I figured that this propolis stuff that's supposed to bring back old leather products, I figured since it was all natural and made by bees and doesn't have any additives that I know of, that if it's good for old leather, that it would probably be good for old wood too and wouldn't harm it, and it doesn't seem to have. I'm thinking, since this is approximately 1940s, that maybe it was a wedding present. And I'm thinking it may have been made by a family member of my grandparents. I was really, really lucky to have really, really old grandparents, older than most people, and older than my other set of grandparents, a very different generation. And because it gives you a whole different perspective and attitude on life. And I was really close to them too. I really love that generation. I mean, it was the generation that fought in World War II. And they were different. They were really a special, special generation of people to know. And a lot of that generation, they worked their butts off, but they also retained a real love of culture and relaxation and socializing and acceptance and open-mindedness. And my grandma talked to me once about that. She said something happened to the generation born after her generation. She was born in 1916. So this was years and years ago that she was telling me these things. And she said, something's wrong with the younger generation. And to her, the younger generation would have been born in probably the 20s and the 30s. And she said, after about the 1920 or so, she said people got really, really uptight and more closed-minded and paranoid and had a lot of more social issues. Maybe it had to do with the Depression or something. Because my grandma went through the Depression. She was, I guess she would have been a late teenager and early 20s. And it was hard for her, but she was older. Maybe that made it easier. She was also very self-sufficient and didn't worry too much. She made her all her clothes, and she said she did a really, really good job. She and her sisters were very stylish compared to a lot of people, because their dad did have a steady job, and he was kind of proud and made sure that his girls, he had 3 girls, he made sure that he didn't spend extravagantly on them, no, but he made sure that they always had really nice fabric to work with so that they could make really nice clothes. And I guess they were pretty good at it. And my grandma did a lot of dancing, because she did live in a bustling, working class, but a bustling city, and lots and lots of dancing. And my grandpa was called the Fred Astaire of Duluth. He was too. He was a very graceful man. He was a very excellent dancer, and most of his dance partners did actually leave him to go to Hollywood, because they wanted to be in the movies and on all those musicals where you have all the dancers, and they wanted to make it in Hollywood. So he was a pretty good dancer, I guess. If most of his partners, except for my grandma, went off to Hollywood. I mean, he had a reputation as a very excellent dancer. I think he won some, dancing competitions too. Okay, I think we're still recording. So this basket, before my grandma died, she died in her 90s, at home, she just decided it was time to go, and she stopped eating. She didn't have any health problems. She had bad knees, but she had no health problems. And she just one day stopped eating and decided it was time to go. And so what they had to do is put her on a lot of morphine, but she died at home. And as she was going, she was coming in and out of dreams, and she'd kind of come back into the real world, and she would talk to people like my dad or my aunt who were there at the house, staying there with her as in her last 2 weeks of life. And she was very calm and peaceful, I hear. It wasn't easy, but she would tell them things about people, like that she saw in her dreams or something, and she would say things about her grandkids and the future of us. And the interesting thing is, these things that she said would happen to us, some of them did begin to happen rather unexpectedly and suddenly in the months or years after she died. And one of the things, my aunt would not tell me what my grandma said about me, but I guess she said a lot, but my aunt wouldn't tell me. And she acted a little bit afraid, or maybe that she didn't believe it. But the one thing I do know that was really, really important to my grandma, as a dying request, was that for some reason, this was really important, that this was my inheritance right here. It was very, very important for me to get the picnic basket. And I don't know why, but that was really, really important. So that's my inheritance, was the picnic basket. And the picnic basket was used the whole time. So this is a very well-built basket, because this basket was used from the 40s to the 90s. No? Beyond that. I think. I don't know. Yeah, it would have been beyond that. Because my grandparents, even though they were old, They were very, very young at heart and very social and had a lot of younger friends and were very well beloved on their street and in the neighborhood. And so when people would have backyard picnics and barbecues, they would invite my grandparents. And according to my aunt, they would just stand in the front yard waiting for my grandma and grandpa to come walking down the street, and they would each hold a side of the basket. They would hold the basket between them and slowly walk down the sidewalk with what they brought. And what my grandma always brought, because it was always a request, because it was kind of a joke, was green Jell-o with grated carrots in it. I mean, if she told me if she didn't bring the green Jell-o with the carrots, people would get upset and very disappointed at not seeing that. It wasn't that it tasted good, it was just that it was always her thing. And it was colorful, and it was kind of a joke. It was funny to see the green Jell-o with the shredded carrots. And so people would get upset if she didn't bring that to the picnic. So there was always a bowl of green Jell-o with carrots. And I remember once when I was staying with her, I said, "Oh, you're making the green Jell-o with the carrots." And she looked at me and she said, "Yeah, I have to bring this. Everyone always requests it, and if I don't bring it, they get really upset." She said, "They just really like to see it." So, I don't want to disappoint them. And she thought it was funny. So I was wondered, well, what was the meaning or the symbolism of getting a picnic basket? And for me, all I can think of is I have to put the meaning in it. Like the green Jell-o with the carrots. I have to put the meaning in it and bring it. And also, you pull good things out of the basket. The basket is for traveling. That the picnic basket represents going out and bringing things to others. That's what it represents, like kind of this Socmatician pin. You know, Nathan means he gave. So the basket means pretty much the same thing as this. It's kind of like a sock. You put something in it. Like at Christmas, you put something in the stocking and you pull good things out of it. Santa brings good things. And that's kind of like how my grandma was and grandpa and the picnic basket. It's the same thing. It's about bringing something to others. And you might not think it's valuable. Like, you know, what is so green Jell-o and carrots? It's because it makes them think of you. There's character in it. It amuses people. It brings them joy. There's something about it that just, it's the humor of it in some cases. It's not that that item is that great or special. It's not the best tasting. But it is in a way because of who it came from and what it means. And even the tradition of seeing it. Just that. Because humans also love habit. And where it came from, people love the joy. Watching, you know, an old couple slowly come down the sidewalk with the basket between them. I mean, that's a treat. That actually is a real treat for people to see a scene like that. I mean, I can see it in my mind. So, and it would be, because you'd just be kind of laughing. I can just imagine people say, "Are they coming? Are they here yet? Oh, look at them. Aren't they cute?" You know, so, anyway, the basket means going out. which is kind of a hard thing to do right now. But look at this. Stuff comes to me. It's coming to me. I've got this, you know, in my opinion, this is just manna from the sky dropping down in the desert. This is good stuff. This is good stuff. It's white. I look good in white. White is one of my best colors. And comes out of a box. I tell ya, I think I've rambled on long enough, and I have another long video going up. I'll just keep telling stories to myself and recording these stories for posterity. And drinking out of old glasses and sitting on old great-grandma thrones. This is good luck. Oh, and I should talk about that painting. I don't know much about that painting, but that painting was painted by my grandpa, who was married to the grandma with the cup and the green Jell-o. That was just in his basement. I mean, it's not professional. It was something he just did for fun of it. And that's a World War II scene. So anyway. Okay. Happy giving, dropping down things onto others that we are socially distant from, and bringing the good things of the world, our own green Jell-o, to others. Have a good evening. May you be blessed with whatever it is that you need to drop down on you. Just enough. Just enough.